In the huge universe of different blockchains, trying to trade assets between them can feel, well, pretty clumsy and sometimes not very secure. So today, we're going to dive into a project that was built from the ground up to be the financial hub for an entire ecosystem of interconnected chains. Let's talk about Osmosis.
So let me ask you a question. What if there was one spot where you could swap tokens from dozens of different blockchains, earn some yield on your assets, and here's the key part, do it all without ever giving your private keys to some big centralized exchange?
Well, believe it or not, that platform is already here. It's called Osmosis, and as the top decentralized exchange, or DEX, in the entire Cosmos ecosystem, it is totally rethinking how we move value between all these different blockchains.
Now, to really get why Osmosis is so special, we first have to understand the massive challenge it was designed to solve. We're talking about building a truly seamless financial system for a future where there are thousands of blockchains all trying to talk to each other.
Think about it this way. On one side, you have the old model, centralized exchanges. They're like these big digital vaults where you have to deposit your crypto and just trust them. But on the other side, you have the Osmosis promise, a totally decentralized network where you are always in control of your keys, where trades can flow freely between chains, and where the community itself is in charge.
So, here's the absolute bottom line. Osmosis is all about true interoperability. Just imagine being able to trade a token from one blockchain for a totally different token from another blockchain, like instantly, with no middleman getting in the way. That, right there, is the real game changer.
Okay, so with that big picture in mind, let's zoom in and get into the nitty-gritty. What exactly is Osmosis?
At its heart, Osmosis is really two things at once. First, it's an automated market maker, or AMM. That's the engine that powers all the decentralized trading. But, and this is so important, it's also its own independent blockchain. See, unlike a lot of DEXs that are built on super crowded networks like Ethereum, Osmosis gets to make its own rules. It can optimize for speed and evolve specifically for trading, which gives it a ton of flexibility.
And what that means for you, the user, is that you can do way more than just buy and sell. You can actually provide your tokens to liquidity pools and earn a cut of the trading fees. You can swap assets across all sorts of different chains. You can help keep the network secure by staking, and you can even cast votes on proposals that will literally shape the future of the platform.
This all sounds amazing, right? But how does it all work under the hood? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that makes the whole Osmosis machine run.
The entire system is built on what you can think of as three main pillars. First, you've got the liquidity pools. These are the big reservoirs of tokens that make all the trading possible. Second is the IBC protocol, which is the technological magic that connects all the different chains. And finally, you have the Osmo token itself, which is the fuel that powers and secures the whole ecosystem.
All right, first up, liquidity pools. The easiest way to think about them is like one of those currency exchange booths you see at an airport. But here's the twist. Instead of a big company owning all the cash inside, the pools are filled with tokens from users just like you and me. So, when a trader makes a swap, they're trading against that pool, and the people who put their tokens in, the liquidity providers, get to earn a little fee from every single trade.
Next, we have the Inter-Blockchain Communication Protocol, or IBC for short. And honestly, this is the secret sauce. Think of IBC as a universal passport for all your crypto assets. It lets tokens move directly and securely between independent blockchains in the cosmos, which means you don't have to use those risky and, frankly, often hacked third-party bridges anymore.
And that brings us to the third pillar, the Osmo token. Now, this isn't just some token you buy and hope the price goes up. It's woven into the very fabric of the platform. You use it to vote on big changes to the protocol, you can stake it to help secure the network and earn rewards for doing so, and it's even used in paying out some of the trading fees. It really is the lifeblood of the whole Osmosis zone.
So, okay, that's all the theory, but is anybody actually using this thing? Let's take a look at how Osmosis is holding up out there in the real world.
Yeah, Osmosis is definitely not some flash-in-the-pan project. It actually launched way back in 2021 and has been grinding and building ever since. From pioneering new kinds of customizable pools to fully embracing that incredible IBC tech, it has shown real sustained growth in both the number of users and the amount of money flowing through it.
And all that growth has led to some really cool, practical uses. You've got sharp traders finding tiny price differences between chains and profiting from them. You have new projects using the liquidity pools to get their funding. You've got everyday users earning passive income on their assets. And you have a genuinely passionate community that's constantly debating and voting on what's next. This isn't just a theory, it's a living, breathing economy.
Of course, Osmosis isn't the only game in town.
Right in its own backyard, in the Cosmos, it's got competition from projects like Thorchain and Sifchain. And if you zoom out to the wider DeFi world, well, it's going up against absolute giants like Uniswap on Ethereum and PancakeSwap on BNB Chain. It has definitely carved out a powerful niche for itself, but the competition is no joke.
Which leads us to the million-dollar question. What does the future actually hold for Osmosis? So let's wrap things up by looking down the road, and that includes talking about some of the potential bumps along the way.
Look, no project in crypto is risk-free, and it's super important to be honest about that. The Osmo token itself can be pretty volatile. If you're providing liquidity, you face a unique risk called impermanent loss. It's a tricky concept, but basically, if the prices of the two tokens in your pool drift too far apart, you could end up with less value than if you just held them in your wallet. And of course, like everything in DeFi, there's always the risk of smart contract bugs and an ever-changing regulatory environment.
So when you look to the future, you can kind of map out a few different paths. In the best case, most optimistic scenario, Osmosis uses its unique tech to become the go-to cross-chain DEX for the entire crypto world. A more neutral outcome, it stays a super important hub, but primarily for the Cosmos ecosystem. And the pessimistic view? Well, it could get outmaneuvered by competitors who just offer better rewards or attract more trading volume.
Leaves us with the final question, and this one's for you to chew on. With its incredible interoperability and its die-hard community, does Osmosis have what it takes to actually go head-to-head with the biggest names in DeFi, like Uniswap? Or is its destiny to be the undisputed king of a very important but ultimately smaller kingdom?
And there you have it, a deep dive into the world of Osmosis. As always, please remember that this is all just for educational purposes. It is absolutely not financial advice. This space moves at light speed, so it is crucial that you always do your own research. Thanks for tuning in,